Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Monday, September 5th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Helps us out a ton. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Now, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Of course, I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so you can check that out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Monday, September 5th. First up, we see the Minnesota Twins taking on the New York Yankees with Chris Archer and Jameson Taillon as the projected starters. Now, Chris Archer's not in the best form going into this series, as in his last 8 1/3 innings, giving up 9 earned runs to the Astros and Red Sox. That was his last 2 starts. And I know the New York Yankees are coming back from that grueling road trip. They were in Oakland, then Los Angeles, and then Tampa Bay. But I still think when they get back to Yankee Stadium, this is a big-time series for them. We know they're struggling overall since the trade deadline. And the Twins, they're fighting for a playoff spot. So both teams playing for quite a bit in this series, but I just trust the Yankees bats a little bit more, and I also trust Jameson Taillon more in this game. So give me the New York Yankees. I'm going to lay the run line with the home team. Next up, we see the New York Mets taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates with Taijuan Walker and Mitch Keller on the mound. Now, Taijuan Walker has struggled, and he struggled in the month of August, a 6.98 ERA. However, you got to look at the matchups he's had and the teams that he's faced. He faced the Braves twice in August, the Yankees on the road, and the Los Angeles Dodgers in his most recent game. So definitely a very tough strength of schedule. And now you're facing the Pittsburgh Pirates, one of the weaker lineups in baseball. You look at their team OPS in the last month, it's ranked 28th in the league. Isolated power numbers ranked 26th. They strike out quite a bit as a team as well. So this is a more feasible game for Taijuan Walker, and I do think he has a decent outing here. And I trust the New York Mets bats a lot. Mitch Keller's been solid. His last start, he had 10 strikeouts against the Milwaukee Brewers, but I don't love this Pirates bullpen. And Mitch Keller, not a guy that's going to be able to give him 7, 8 innings. He usually goes 5 to 6 innings at the most. So I like the New York Mets in this game. I'll take them on the money line and lay a bit on the run line as well. Next up, we see a doubleheader between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. Now, I mentioned on the last rundown when we had a doubleheader, we're no longer going to be giving out official plays for these doubleheader games just because a lot of the information changes from when we post the videos the night before to the day of, and sometimes even between Game 1 and Game 2. So we're really just getting really bad information. But Kevin Gausman should be pitching in at least one of these games, and his road and home splits are kind of crazy. You look at his home starts in about 64 innings pitched this season. He's got a 4.48 ERA at home, but on the road in 76 innings of work, he's got a 2.01 ERA. It's like Cy Young numbers right there if he just pitched on the road. But now his ERA overall is above 3 because of those home innings. So it's kind of crazy to think about, but Gausman loves pitching on the road. Only 2 home runs allowed this entire year on the road. 76 innings of work. Very impressive stuff. So I think he'll pitch well in this doubleheader. A couple other starters we should see. Jose Barrios has been rumored to get a start either in Game 1 or Game 2. Not my favorite starter to back there, so I do believe in the game that he pitches, the Orioles may have the better chance of winning. So I'm leaning towards the Blue Jays when Gausman gets the ball and the Orioles when Barrios gets the ball. Next up, we see the Boston Red Sox taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, a 4:10 Eastern start time. Michael Wacha going for the Red Sox, and there's no surprise that Kevin Cash has not announced his starter for the Tampa Bay Rays. It seems like that's just the new norm for Tampa Bay these days. But, Michael Wacha, a former Ray himself, and he just faced these Rays not too long ago and didn't pitch too well. He went 6 innings, giving up 4 earned runs and 2 home runs. Now, he did have 6 strikeouts, and overall, the strikeouts have been there for Wacha as of late, which is a good sign to see. But, the Tampa Bay Rays, I think they're just a really tough matchup for him, especially when he just struggled against them, giving up those 2 homers. The Rays' offensive numbers against righties have been solid in the last month, and on the road this season, Wacha's got a 3.26 ERA compared to his home ERA at 1.79. So I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Rays here on the money line. I just think they're playing really good ball. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays money line. In our next game, we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Colorado Rockies with Freddie Peralta and Ryan Feltner on the mound. Freddie Peralta concerning me a little bit. His strikeout numbers haven't necessarily been there in the month of August, and his last start against the Pittsburgh Pirates, a team that strikes out left and right, he only had 3 Ks through 5 innings of work. He did give up a home run in that game as well. So I do worry about him at Coors Field if he's not missing those bats at a very hitter-friendly ballpark against a team that knows how to play there, a team with an above 500 record at home. I don't really like Peralta's chances, and Ryan Feltner's not my favorite starting pitcher to back, but I will say he's been able to miss bats. His last start, 7 strikeouts through 5 2/3 innings against the defending World Series champions. And actually, Feltner's had better numbers at Coors this season than he has on the road. not by much. His ERAs are pretty high in both home and on the road, but the opponent's batting average is far lower at home. 237 opponent's batting average at Coors compared to a 300 opponent's batting average away from home. So I'm going to take a shot here with the home dog here. They are 4 games above 500, the Rockies are this season, so I think it's worth a shot. Give me the plus money with the Colorado Rockies. In our next game, we see the St. Louis Cardinals hosting the Washington Nationals. Anibal Sanchez and Jack Flaherty are the projected starters. You know, in this series, if there was a game that I believe the Nationals had the best chance of competing in, this would be the one. So I'm going to take the plus 1.5 runs with the Nationals on the road. Anibal Sanchez is not somebody that I thought I would be backing too often this year, but I have to say in his last 4 starts, he has been fantastic. He's given the Nationals some innings. Last time out, he went 7 innings of 1-run ball, and the Nationals have won each of his last 4 games outright, and that includes 3 wins over above 500 teams in the Padres twice and the Mariners. So he's keeping his team in games, and the bullpen has been very good for the Nationals in the last month or so as well. Jack Flaherty, he's going to be back from the IL, and this is his second return from the IL this season. And we've seen he's had some control issues. He's walking a lot of batters. His strikeout numbers aren't really the strongest, and I don't think he's going to go too deep into this game. Maybe 2, 3, 4 innings. You don't want to stretch a guy that's been on the IL a few times this year. So I think this is a good spot for the Nationals to compete in this game. I'm going to take the plus 1.5 runs with the road dog. In our next game, we see the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the San Diego Padres. Now, the Diamondbacks are going to be starting Ryan Nelson in this game. He'll be making his MLB debut. On the other side, Blake Snell is projected to go for San Diego. You look at Nelson's minor league stats this season. He's pitched in AAA in Reno, and he's had about 130 innings, 136 innings to be exact this season, but he's got an ERA of 5.42. So he has struggled in AAA. He's got 8.5 Ks per 9. Those strikeout numbers are way down from last year, as really throughout the minor leagues in his career and in college, he had double-digit Ks per 9, but only 8.5 this season. That's concerning to me. A 1.7 home runs per 9 is also very, very high, and that's in AAA. Now you're going to the major leagues. You're facing a pretty tough lineup on the road. I just can't trust him in this game. To me, the San Diego Padres, although they've been underwhelming since the trade deadline, they're still a very talented team on paper. You still have some really tough at-bats in Juan Soto and Manny Machado and even some of the role players on this team. So I do like the San Diego Padres. I think especially with Snell on the mound, who's coming off a great start, facing a Diamondbacks team that doesn't hit lefties nearly as well as they hit righties. This is a good matchup for San Diego. So give me the San Diego Padres on the run line. Next up, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Seattle Mariners. Lance Lynn and Marco Gonzalez are the projected starters. The White Sox are starting to hit lefties better now. You look in the last 30 days, they're ranked 6th in team OPS and in the top 15 in isolated power. And to me, they're facing a lefty in Marco Gonzalez that is due for some regression, and I haven't really been impressed with him in his last few starts. In his last outing against the Tigers, he gave up 7 base hits and a walk in 6 innings of work. He only gave up 3 earned runs, but the Tigers had plenty of chances with runners in scoring position. I think the White Sox are better suited to take advantage of that. On the other side, Lance Lynn has been pitching really well. He struggled at the beginning of his season in 2022, but as of late, his last 3 starts against the Guardians, Orioles, and Royals, 1 earned run or fewer in all 3 of those starts, at least 6 strikeouts in each of his last 4 games, and I think he pitches well enough here for the White Sox to get a win, and they're getting plus money right now on the road. I think the Mariners have the better bullpen, so the White Sox will have to get the lead early in this game, but I like the White Sox to win this one in the end. Give me Chicago money line. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Houston Astros. Another MLB debut here for Houston this time. Their number 1 prospect, Hunter Brown, gets the ball. He'll be facing Martin Perez from the Rangers side. And Hunter Brown has also pitched in the minor leagues this season. He's had pretty good numbers, though. He's got an ERA below 3. His strikeout percentage is solid, above 30%. The walks are a little bit of an issue. His control issues are there, but he doesn't really give up a lot of home runs, and I think he pitches well enough here for the bats to take care of the rest. They're facing Martin Perez again, the Astros are, and they've faced him quite a few times now in the last month. I think that's a big advantage for this Houston lineup, and the fact is they've gotten to him each of the last two times against him, August 31st and August 9th. Back on August 9th, 5 innings, 7 earned runs, and back on August 31st, 5 innings, 5 earned runs. The Astros are crushing lefties this season. This is a bad spot for Perez. Give me the Houston Astros on the run line. Next up, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Kansas City Royals. Tristan McKenzie, the starter for the Guardians. No official starter for the Royals quite yet, but it looks like it could be Brady Singer, so we could have a pretty solid pitching matchup in this game. But I still trust the Guardians in the end. I think they have the better starting pitcher, the better bullpen, and the better lineup. And this is a really big game for them. They're facing a team well below 500 and a team that has no chance of making the playoffs. But the Guardians, they need to start winning some games. They're starting to slip a little bit in that Mariners series. They didn't look the strongest, but they still have a solid chance of making the playoffs. These are the type of games that they have to win. And in fact, they played the Royals 6 straight games to end the season, all at home, all at Progressive Field. So you got to take care of the games against the below 500 teams. I think they do. I'm going to take the Cleveland Guardians behind McKenzie. I like what I've seen from overall this season, and I do think that the Guardians will be able to get to the Royals bullpen. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels hosting the Detroit Tigers, and we're projected to see 2 lefties on the mound for this one, Tyler Alexander and Jose Suarez. And I think the Angels are playing much better baseball right now compared to the Tigers, and the Tigers are 22 games below 500 on the road. The Angels are top 10 in the league in the last month against lefties in isolated power, ranked 8th. And I do believe that Tyler Alexander has had an issue with the home run ball. He gave one up in his last start against the Mariners, and he's given up one up at least one in each of his last 4 starts, including a game against these Los Angeles Angels. So I like the Angels to get to Alexander. I think Suarez is a solid option coming off a good start against the New York Yankees, and we know the Yankees hit lefties very, very well, so impressive stuff there. Give me the Los Angeles Angels on the run line. In our final game of the night, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Logan Webb and Andrew Heaney are the projected starters. Now, the Giants have hit lefties pretty well this season, but I just don't trust Logan Webb in this game. His last start against these Dodgers back on August 1st was 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, and a home run as well, and he only had 2 strikeouts in that game. His strikeout numbers have kind of been all over the place as of late, and I don't trust him in this game. He's faced the Dodgers quite a few times this season. I think the Dodgers' bats will prevail in the end, even though I do think the Giants will be able to chip in a few runs themselves. So I do lean towards the over as the Giants face the lefty here, but I do like the Dodgers overall to win this game, especially when the Giants' bullpen makes its way in. I do believe the Giants have one of the weaker bullpens in baseball. So give me the Los Angeles Dodgers here on the run line to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday, September 5th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.